Good evening, and welcome to Mild's Culture Plate, where we laugh at the world around us. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is November 9th, 2022, Wednesday. And last night was the midterm elections in the United States. And myself, living in the heartland, living in the flyover country known as Kansas, is quite reflective of the bipolar nature of politics in 2022. I know most of you are following the exciting races in Pennsylvania and Georgia and Arizona and Florida. And not very many of you were watching what was going on in the flyover country. But something interesting, to me at least, happened. And that is, the voters here in Kansas went red all down the ballot, except for our Governor Lockup Laura. Yeah. And I call her that because when the pandemic, excuse me. Oh man, that was, sorry YouTube, I meant pandemic. First happened. She was one of the first governors to say, lock it down. Don't let business happen. No church, no nothing. And so I was hoping that conservative voters here in Kansas, and again, I'll get on past Kansas here in a minute. I was hoping conservative voters here in Kansas would see right through it and ditch our wonderful governor. But they didn't. However, they voted for a Republican Attorney General, a Republican Senator, Republicans all across the United States House of Representatives districts here in Kansas, with the exception of Sharice Davids, which, Kansas City's going to be blue, right? The closer you get to Missouri, the closer you get to Kansas City, the closer you're going to get to blue districts in the bigger cities. So, it is what it is. But what I found interesting was the suburbs around Wichita really voted heavily for our lovely governor. Anyway, so that was Kansas. And I'm sorry to keep you on Kansas for so long. There were a lot more exciting races like Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, people. Hang on. Before I go any further, I just want to say it's great to be back. I know if you were watching my show Saturday, you know I skipped a vital part of my show, the whiskey tasting, because Saturday evening I went up to Kansas City, did a little traveling of my own, went up to Kansas City and went to a whiskey tasting event. I got this neat little, sniffer glass, and I had probably about 50 to 60, somewhere in there, shots of whiskey and other spirits. Yeah. I was trashed, but I survived. The hangover didn't last too long. Luckily, I was drinking plenty of water as well. And it was a wonderful event. I did get to try some wonderful spirits and some not so good spirits. Tonight, we're going to be drinking Highland Park 12. You may have noticed I've had it on my show before. My review of it back then was essentially that I thought it tasted a little bit like chewing tobacco. I didn't love it. Since then, I've had it a couple more times and it's kind of grown on me. I like it now, but it still kind of tastes like chewing tobacco a little bit. Kind of reminds me of the teenage years when I was trying the Skull. But we'll go ahead and skull our way up with some wonderful single malt Scotch whiskey. 43% alcohol by volume. And yeah. Look at that. Cheers. Cheers to everyone who got what they wanted out of the election. And cheers to everyone who has needed a drink in the last 24 hours. Yep, still got a tobacco flavor, but it's growing on me. So, election 2022. First off, Pennsylvania. Dr. Mehmet Oz was perhaps one of the worst Republican candidates in recent memory in a nationwide general election. And granted, it wasn't a nationwide vote. It was on the national stage, but it was Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, I've got to say, no matter where you are in Pennsylvania, what the hell are you doing? I mean, I concede Mehmet Oz is one of the worst candidates, and I'll get more on that later. But Fetterman. I don't want to pick on Fetterman because, yes, he's someone who has had some health issues recently. And I'm not trying to pick on him when I say this, but is he fit for the job? I mean, I can't fathom that voters actually think he's fit for the job. And why? So if he's not fit for the job, how did he get the job? I have a theory. And my theory is East Coast Democrats would vote for a pineapple if it had a D next to it in the voting booth. And I know this to be true, actually. There is actual evidence of this. And I'm about to bring it up. If it will come up, what the heck? Okay, there we go. From Fox News. Pennsylvania State Representative reelected despite being dead. They voted for a dead guy. Talk about not qualified. Pennsylvania voters voted for a dead guy. And now they have to hold a special election in Pennsylvania for an open state house seat. Taxpayers have to fund it all over again because they voted for a dead guy. So Fetterman, who can hardly get a sentence out, who has to have his questions that he was just asked displayed for him visually, Again, I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. But this is going to be your U.S. Senator if you live in Pennsylvania. And you also have a dead guy in your state house. It doesn't matter. It apparently doesn't matter to Pennsylvania Democrats if the dead are voting, because they'll be voting for dead people and people who are so handicapped they could barely do the job. And again, it's nothing against Fetterman. So what else do we have on the election plate? We've got a statistical tie right now in Arizona. They're saying it could be up till Friday to count the votes. So, they haven't called it. Mark Kelly has a very large lead with 67% of the vote in, according to Google. A 5% lead, approximately, almost 5% lead. The Associated Press and other media organizations have not called that race because there's still too many votes out. And in the governor race, in a statistical tie, 49.8% to 50.2%, Katie Hobbs is barely squeaking ahead of Kari Lake. And you might remember, this was the one race I was looking forward to, because I want Kari Lake to win so badly because of the way she talks to the media. Now, I just rambled on and on and on about all the races here in my own state I could give no shits about. I want Kari Lake to win the Arizona governor race. And there's so many shenanigans happening in Arizona that this race probably won't be called until Friday, according to sources. Travesty. It's a travesty. In Georgia, they're going to have a runoff election for the U.S. Senate seat. So we're not going to know who won the Senate seat, probably, and which party is in control of our Senate until probably sometime in the middle of next month. Once again, the taxpayers have to fund a runoff election. Warnock and Walker. Warnock with 49.4% of the vote and Walker with 48.5%. Nobody met the 50% threshold, so therefore they are going to a runoff. Crazy. But let's talk about what's real important. Marijuana. Legalized marijuana was on 5 states' ballots yesterday. When I'm not talking about medical marijuana, I'm talking about legalized, in your home, rolling a doobie, marijuana. Fun times. 5 states had it on the ballot. North Dakota, South Dakota, Arkansas, all said no. Nope. We don't need the stuff. We don't need cannabis in those states. But Maryland and my neighbors over in Missouri can now openly smoke marijuana. And let me tell you, every time I've been to Kansas City recently, they were openly smoking it anyway. But now it is officially legal in Missouri to buy and smoke marijuana. And Maryland. Maryland as well. So congratulations, Missouri and Maryland, to take one more step toward the freedom. The freedom. And I don't smoke weed myself. Don't like the stuff. But I am all for freedom. I'm all for, if you're being responsible and being left alone, do what you want to do. I ain't got no hate on you. So back to statistical ties in the election real quick. There's one more race that has not been called. And that is the U.S. House of Representatives, Colorado 3rd Congressional District. The seat currently held by Republican Lauren Boebert. She is facing Democrat Adam Frisch, and they are in a 73 vote difference statistical tie at 50% each, with 98% of the vote in, and ballots still being counted in rural western Colorado. So we'll see. That is going to be an exciting House race. But like I said, the only race I really care about is the Arizona governor race, because I like funny. Kari Lake is so freaking hilarious the way she talks to these reporters. You gotta love the lady. I mean, if you're in Arizona and you didn't vote for her, then you don't care about funny. You have no sense of humor. And you should lock yourself in a dungeon. Some other things that have been going on today, because I'm done with this election. So I'm done with the election as it pertains to the races and covering the races. I do have one more rant about elections. And that is this. By nature, I'm a third-party voter. Sorry if I just breathed into the mic. By nature, I'm a third-party voter. I highly support the idea of third parties in this country. Why? Because you have situations like what you had in Pennsylvania. And there are people all over Twitter right now spurging about what happened in Pennsylvania. Again, I'm no fan of Fetterman, but I'm really not a fan of Oz either. And so people are screeching that the Libertarian candidate took Republican votes. No. Those people did not want to vote for Mehmet Oz. Plain and simple. If Mehmet Oz, if the Republican Party wanted their vote, then they should have ran a conservative grassroots candidate. Then when it came to the primaries, Republicans should have found the most libertarian, the most liberty-minded candidate, got behind them, and pushed them through the primaries so that they could have the libertarian vote. Make your candidate palpable to those of us who hate the mainstream. Don't cry that we didn't follow your lead later. It's your job. It's your job to win our vote, regardless of who else is on the ballot. And if you can't do that job, then you're a loser. Mehmet Oz, I'm sorry, you are a loser. And the Republicans who were trying to get behind you since before the primary, you are losers as well. And you should have thought twice before putting some New Jersey TV guy who was pushing hormones on kids and so many other whacked out medical treatments on his TV show. No. Libertarians can't vote for that. We never were going to vote for that. So to blame us for the 1% difference, to blame libertarians, to blame third-party voters for the 1% difference, like they're doing now in Georgia as well. But we got to do a whole other election because 1%. Well, it's your fault. If you had a candidate who was so populist, so explosive, that they could get 60, 70% of the vote, we wouldn't be having this conversation now, would we? Who cares about 1% if your candidate is populist enough to snatch a whole state? You notice they're not crying about those races. They're crying about these close races where their guys are getting beaten by people who could barely talk. So that brings me to the title of this stream, Voting. What is it good for? I'm an adult male, American. I vote. But let me tell you, I vote because I find it funny. I vote for the most qualified candidate who I know is going to lose. I do it because I want that 1%. Boom. Underneath all the other candidates, I want that little 1%. I want my number in that 1%. I want that vote total. I don't care if it's 5 people and I'm one of 5 in a whole statewide race. I want my little mark on those election results to show that, hey, at least there are 5 people who would not vote for these idiots. Don't get me wrong. I voted a mixed ballot. It wasn't straight third party. It wasn't straight libertarian. And it wasn't libertarian Republican even. I voted for a mixed bag of candidates based on my own research. So when I told y'all Saturday that I was going to do the research, I did. I watched 4 hours of debates. I looked at candidate questionnaires online. I figured out who was who and who had what to say and who backtracked on things that they had previously said. And I understood why. And I voted accordingly. But does my vote count? Should it count? Should it matter? I don't care. It's my vote. I can throw it away if I want. So for the 150, let's see here. One moment. Let me get an accurate number here. U.S. Senate, Pennsylvania. Here we go. For the 2,462,615 people who voted for Mehmet Oz, and that's only 90% of the vote in. For the almost 2.5 million people who voted for Mehmet Oz, did you throw your vote away? You didn't win. You want to say those who voted for Eric Gerhardt or Daniel Wassemeyer threw their vote away and could have helped you prevent John Fetterman from becoming a senator. It's not their job to help you. Their vote is theirs to throw away if they wish, and you're just being fucking entitled. So yeah, Mehmet Oz voters, salty Republicans nationwide who are pissed off because it wasn't a red tidal wave. It was never going to be a red tidal wave. Get over it. Get over it and run better candidates next time. Because we're not here to make you feel good. I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm not here to give you some kind of comfort and security that your orgy of a neocon country comes to fruition. Run better candidates. So enough about elections. I'm fucking done with that. It's fucking halfway through my show almost. I don't really have a whole lot else to talk about, but I will be going on yet another rant here in a minute. We get a little nicotine in me and we'll go for round 2 here. Because there's something trending on Twitter. I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to bring it up because quite frankly, the tweets are so delusional. The tweets are so delusional that I can't even comprehend reading them. So, stay tuned for just a second. Hashtag bring masks back. Yes, the weirdos are at it again. Hashtag bring masks back is trending on Twitter. It hasn't been a week since I ranted about the Amnesty article. And now there are a few groups of weirdos out there who are trying to tell us that COVID is making a comeback. And that kids are dying. Kids are dying. That I saw a tweet that claimed that COVID is a leading cause of death in 0 to 14-year-olds. People, I can't rant the way I want to rant on YouTube about this. But can we get these people some bona fide help? Oh, excuse me. Could we please find something for these people to do that doesn't involve other people's children? That doesn't involve people getting on an airplane? Can we find something for these people to do that doesn't involve bullying the rest of us around? I get it, you're afraid. You stay home. I saw a tweet that's like, if you don't want to wear a mask, that means you're afraid and you stay home. No, I'm not afraid of a mask. I don't need a mask. It's not my fear that needs to be accommodated. It's yours. And I do not abide by your accommodations. Go home. Live in your basement. Get on frickin' Zoom. Stay out of the schools. Stay out of our government. And don't you touch our churches. Jesus, these people. I pray. When I see a story like this, I pray that these people don't get traction. You want to talk about people who shouldn't be voting or should be voting or people who vote the wrong way. You want to criticize libertarians for being potheads and open borders, and I don't believe with the open border shit, but you want to criticize libertarians for all these things. Look, we're not trying to put diapers on your kid's head. We're not promoting gender reassignment surgeries. Jesus, Dr. Oz, man. You had to do it. You had to. Oh, this guy was on TV, so let's vote for him. You fucking idiots. Anyway. So now we got to deal with these kind of people. But, you know, it's more of our bipolar political outlook here in the United States. What else we got trending here? "26th Amendment." R.I.P. Carlos Pacheco. Comic book artist Carlos Pacheco passed away. Yeah, that's what's... I mean, there's nothing really awesome trending. More people whining about the Twitter blue. You know, there's some screenshots that have come out today showing that, you know, there's a different message if you got your check mark through Twitter blue versus getting it through being a notable person. Yeah, there's nothing important here. But yeah, a lot of people interested in the election. So, wow, I really thought I was going to have a lot more to say. Here's a story we can cover. Okay, first let's do this. Let's hear from the President of the United States before we cover this. Because this goes back to the Fetterman stuff. You know, here let's hear from the President of the former Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden. Here, let's hear what Biden has to say about himself.
Biden's being Biden's being an extremist.
There you go. You heard it from the man. Biden's being an extremist. Biden's being a extremist. I found that clip rather funny when I saw it a little bit ago. Hopefully y'all did too. Comedy is great. So even if this I've already ranted all I can rant. Even if this post-election era has you down, always find something to laugh at. Even if it's someone else's misfortune. And let me be fucking clear here. You know, earlier I made a disclaimer that I didn't want to make fun of Fetterman. And I don't yet. There may come a time where Fetterman may say or do something in the news that I'm just like, haha, look at this motherfucker, right? Because I don't think having a stroke exempts him from being a public figure enough to point out his flaws and laugh at them. Because it's important. Laughing and shame is important. Because if you can't laugh at somebody, you can't laugh at yourself. And if you can't laugh at yourself, then you're taking yourself too seriously. And I can laugh at myself. Look, I've got this pineapple shirt on, right? If you're not familiar with the pineapple thing, there's a whole theory that swingers wear pineapples to signify to other swingers that they're They're seeking. And it was an ongoing joke in some of the chat rooms I follow. So, yeah, pineapple. I'm able to poke fun at myself. So, having said that, I want to make fun of someone else just for a minute. Because that's what I do. I'm a misogynist. Not really, but you're going to call me a misogynist after this next little story I'm going to cover. Jennifer Aniston has zero regrets about trying in vitro fertilization. I saw this and I chuckled. Because after all the things we just talked about with the election, with marijuana and all that, it just... This kind of brought home the idea that not everything has to be political. And I love hearing stories like this because, quite frankly, I feel that women, especially celebrities, have a certain amount of hubris. And I forgot the other joke I was going to make about this, but this is great. This is great. The actress, 53, best known for playing Rachel Green in Friends, said she privately went through a difficult time in her late 30s and 40s while under media scrutiny. I was trying to get pregnant, she said. She told the magazine Allure she wished someone had told her to freeze her eggs. And here's Allure. Oh my Lord, here's the Allure. Let me take a second. Okay, let me do this. Let me do this fucking properly. Iggy Pop. I'm sorry, Iggy Pop is having problems with his fertility. But Iggy Pop needs to realize that spending the early years of your life trying to make headlines, trying to be the it person in your career field doesn't lend itself well to the idea of family. So Iggy Pop, to Iggy Pop, let me go back to this article, and I'm going to give a cheers. More whiskey. That's the Highland Park 12-year toast to Jennifer Iggy Pop Aniston and her empty carton of eggs. Ooh, yeah. It was a challenging road for me. The baby-making road, she added. All the years and years of speculation, it was really hard. I was going through IVF, drinking Chinese teas, you name it. Chinese teas. Ladies, if there's ladies out there, please, is this a thing? Is there a Chinese tea? Is there a Chinese fertility tea? Are people really trying to drink teas to make their eggs more susceptible to nut? Is this what women are doing now? They're waiting until they're 40 and then drinking tea. But she told the magazine she had zero regrets. Zero regrets. She added, I would have given anything if someone had said to me, freeze your eggs. Do yourself a favor. You just don't think it. So here I am today, she said. Boom, right here, boom. That ship has sailed. Jennifer, bro, I gotta call you bro because bro. I mean, seriously. It doesn't take a genius to understand fertility doesn't work that way. And if you just make another couple $1,000,000 on your next movie, then maybe you can afford to make a baby appear in your little tummy. And all these tabloids for decades, I'm talking decades. Somebody on Twitter on this on this here article posted a screenshot of like 30 tabloids that was like, is Jen pregnant? Bum 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 bum. Bum. Sorry, Jennifer, you're not. Nor will you ever be. In 2018, okay, so here we go. Narrative that I was just selfish. That's the headline for the next section. 2018, Aniston and actor Justin Theroux announced that they had separated after just 2 years of marriage. And before that, she was married to actor Brad Pitt. She suggested the media could be cruel towards women in the industry who do not have children, and created a narrative that I was just selfish and just cared about my career. Woo, lad. Woo, lad. The fucking absolute fucking projection. You were literally one of the top 5 women in Hollywood. You had everything you could have ever wanted monetarily and in your fucking career. So excuse me if your feminine instincts and your career capabilities weren't on the same track. Look, let me tell you. Let's cover this. Let's head this shit off, because people are gonna call me a fucking misogynist, and fuck you. Okay, so let me just start out by saying fuck you. I'm not hating on Jennifer Aniston for being a woman or even for being a successful woman. I'm not gonna do that. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna compare it to my life. When I was 16, 17, I started doing drugs. I'm not proud of it. I don't like who I was at that age. I'm going to say it. You think I'm an asshole now. Dude, I was a way bigger prick then, right? Because I was always jonesing. I was always looking for my next hit. But you know what? Dude, there were always fucking parties and women. And I noticed something as I got older. Like, women really fucking like to party. And party women really don't like hanging out with dudes who don't party anymore. So, in my late 20s, now mind you, I did the whole marriage thing. I did the whole family thing. I did the whole devote my life to a woman thing. Whatever. Wasn't for me. But then I kind of like, okay, what happened to my life in between? So I was doing drugs, met a woman, cleaned up. Now, not really partying anymore. But women aren't, oh yeah, that's right. Because they all want to go fucking party and do drugs. Not all of them. But I noticed there was a difference between being responsible and being fucking irresponsible. Focusing on my career and keeping my shit straight versus focusing on things that I just want to do to my carnal, biological fucking nature. I can't necessarily do drugs and have hoes around me all the time if I'm trying to hold down a full-time job and take care of my children and be a fucking responsible adult. And that's what's going on here with Iggy Pop, Jennifer Iggy Pop Aniston. And here, let me do this. Never mind. I was going to try to bring up a side-by-side picture of Jennifer Aniston and Iggy Pop, but that's going to be too hard to pull off here on OBS. Oh no, okay. God forbid a woman is successful and don't have a child, she said. Addressing her marriage to Brad Pitt. Now, hold up. Wait. What's Brad Pitt doing today? What's Brad Pitt up to? How's Brad Pitt getting along? Oh yeah, that's right. He's in the middle of rehashing his divorce to the mother of his children, who is a successful actress. Okay. The reason my husband left me, why we broke up and ended our marriage, was because I wouldn't give him a kid. It was absolute lies, and I don't have anything to hide at this point. Okay, did you have something to hide then? I mean, for real, why did Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston split up? There's a lot of newsworthiness of that. I don't give a shit, because let me tell you, quite frankly, I don't give a shit about these fucking celebrities and their fucking lives. But this topic has come up. This very fucking topic has come up in the communities I follow on YouTube. And I'm not going to get into naming names and telling you to go watch this video or that video or find these people fucking arguing about this. But Jesus Christ, there's been a lot of conversation about empty egg cartons. About women who waited too long focusing on their careers and watched the possibility of a happy, reproductive family pass them by. And so that's why I'm covering it. That's why I'm covering it, because apparently we have a problem in our culture with women not realizing that this is a possibility. So y'all tell your daughters, please tell your daughters that this is a possibility. Appearing on the Apple TV series The Morning Show, she went on to say she felt a little relief now about being older, found it liberating. Because there is no more can I, maybe, maybe, maybe. I don't gotta think about that anymore. She explained. I spent so many years protecting my story about IVF. I'm so protective of these parts because I feel like there's so little that I get to keep to myself, she continued. The world creates narratives that aren't true, so I might as well hide the truth. I feel like I'm coming out of hibernation. I don't have anything to hide, Aniston added. Oh, the fucking thickness. Oh my God. The gall is so thick. The gall is so fucking thick here. These 3 paragraphs. The gall is so fucking thick that Lizzo is fucking jealous of the thickness of this gall. On the one hand, I don't get to keep things private no more. And so I had to hide it away. I had to lock it. Because you all want to see inside of me. You all wanted to see my secrets, and I don't get to keep secrets. I let the truth out, and now I feel like I don't have to hide anymore. The fucking gall. Look, I get it. The culture, the TMZ, Entertainment Tonight, People Magazine, the fucking tabloids. I fucking get it. You don't get to keep secrets. But the idea that you kept a secret and now you feel free, like, I mean, come the fuck on with your self-fucking righteousness. Like, I kept a secret and now I get to tell it on my terms. You always get to tell your secrets on your terms, motherfucker. I mean, granted, there's going to be a TMZ article or there's going to be a fucking tabloid article that lies and says they know this or that about you, and maybe out of 100 lies, maybe one of them guessed correctly. And it's like, oh, my secret is out there now. But who really fucking believes Us Weekly? Who believes fucking People Magazine unless it's coming from your fucking mouth? Those are just magazines for women to fucking rub their shit to in between fucking getting their nails done and getting their fucking hair curled. Nobody gives 2 shits about your fucking secrets. Your secrets were always your secrets and were always... And oh my God, look at this. More on this story. Aniston explains cutting off unvaccinated friends. Adios, bitch. Come on, Rachel. Seriously. You feel free now. Because now you get to tell the world on your terms. It was always your terms. It's your fucking life. Okay, so take a good look at this bitch. Take a good look. Right now, take a good look at that. Now, what the hell? What's the difference between these 2 pictures? They're the same picture. They're the same picture. There's Jennifer, Iggy Pop, Aniston. They're the same picture. Oh, okay. She looks... And again, I bring this up because, look, teach your daughters to be responsible. Teach your daughters, please, for the love of God. Teach them that this is a possibility. If they don't prioritize things in life, and they don't understand that there's a trade-off, like I didn't, I learned there was a trade-off between drugs and bitches or being a responsible fucking adult. You can't have both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Please fucking teach your daughters that not only can they not have it all, but that they also should be honest with their self and with the communities that they connect to. Because you can't have, oh, I can't keep secrets from, I can't have a secret of my own, to, well, I finally get to tell my secret the way I want to tell it. No, tell your daughters that they have the power to keep things private or to be free. And I could go into a whole rant right now about internet doxing and bullying and all the information these motherfuckers, these activists on Twitter that want to expose everyone for who they really are. Sometimes you can't help your information getting out there. But there are parts of you, there are parts of me that I don't have to share except on my fucking terms. And there are parts of you that you don't have to share with the world except on your fucking terms. Because nobody knows what you did but yourself and the people that were fucking involved. And yeah, now we're in the age of social media where everything's filmed and tagged and geolocated. And it's harder to keep some of that shit private, but that just means you gotta be a little more fucking responsible. Whew. That one was rough. To Iggy Pop. You don't get to be my God. So, take your empty egg cartons and go find another magazine cover to get on. Because that's really what all this was about. She told a secret to another tabloid and Allure magazine and had a photo shoot, and now we're supposed to care. But like I said, I brought that up not to talk about fucking celebrities and their bullshit. I brought that up because I know my viewers out there and a lot of other people have been talking about the idea of women having to trade their reproductive lives for a productive career. And it's fucking unfortunate that we all can't have it all, right? We can't, even if we're a famous, fabulous, fucking A-list tier fucking celebrity with money fucking rolling in piles that fucking Scrooge McDuck couldn't swim through. We can't have it all. And that goes all the way back to the election shit. That if you think you can have it all, you're just an entitled bitch. And if you think you could force someone else to vote your way, you're an entitled bitch. You got to take the good with the bad. And with that, hopefully you're taking my show as a good thing. And now you're going to have to take the bad. I'm about to sign off until Saturday afternoon at around 4 p.m. Central Time. If you could do me a favor in the meantime, give this video a thumbs up. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Share this thing off platform. Come back and chat with me. Tell me tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm boring. Tell me why I'm boring. Tell me why I suck. Tell me in the comments, or come back this Saturday, 4 p.m. Central Time, and tell me right to my face in that there chat box. Till then, I want y'all to have a good week. And I'm going to sign off by saying one thing. We're now over an hour. But there is something important I do want to say. So we're going to go a little bit over. I forgot. There's one more little rant I wanted to go on. I know that I've done my rant about the term marriage on this channel before, but I'm not sure if I've done my rant about the term military. And so I wanted to be very fucking clear that as a libertarian, I really do not support our federal government. That includes the war machine arm of our federal government. So when someone asks me, do I support the military? That's a loaded word for me because I know a lot of veterans. And I love a lot of veterans. No homo. There are a lot of dudes that I consider my fucking bro. My own father is a veteran. And coming up on Friday, we're going to have Veterans Day. And Veterans Day has become less and less about the actual veterans themselves and more about some self-aggrandizement. You know, you got a couple restaurants that'll give them a fucking C-grade steak. Oh, here you go. Or eat some fucking Salisbury gravy fucking gristle. Which is why when I hear the term military, I want to be very clear. I don't support the war machine. I don't support the rank and file politicians that are put there by elected officials to just push people around. I don't support the globalist empire efforts of our military. But the soldier, the Marine, the airman, the seaman, I support you. I support your brotherhood. I support your dedication and your oath to protect and defend this country and its Constitution. And I would beg you to continue to support your oath to that Constitution. I support the idea that you should be treated better when you get home than you are. Just know that I love you. And I mean that. Anyone watching, I love you. Whether you're a veteran or not, but especially this Veterans Day. Veterans Day is going to be Friday. And I'm not going to see you folks till Saturday. So I wanted to specifically shout out the veterans out there. I respect what you've been through. I respect what you signed up for and why. There are reasons I didn't. But that doesn't make me respect you any less. I salute you. Thank you for your service. And thank you for continuing to be the people who you continue to be. And I hope you are living an awesome life. Happy Veterans Day. I finished my damn whiskey too soon. Catch you Saturday. Come back here 4 p.m. Miles Culture Plate. Peace. Love y'all. Take care.